Everyone. Today we are going to try and implement Rene Descartes' philosophy of I think therefore I am in our day-to-day life. So this philosopher Rene, he lived um, from in the late 16th century to the mid 17th century. He is one of the modern great philosophers, and his philosophy, I think, therefore I am, essentially means because I think, therefore I exist. Alternatively, if you think about it, what he's trying to say is the ability of us to think is what makes us um, living, or that's what make us beings. He used to say that there can be doubts about the theory, or there can be doubts about anything about in your life. Like you can be doubtful whether your body exists. Like there's another philosophy where it says we are in this super universe. Even then, if you are somebody who thinks, therefore you are being, you are there. So if you apply this philosophy in our modern day life, let's take one day for example. Let's say we wake up early in the morning. The first thing we do is, if you've got a partner or children, waking us up doesn't give us time to think. All we're doing is we're rushing things, trying to make sure we get to work every day on time. Now, once we get out of bed, prepare breakfast, make children ready for school, allow them to, get them ready, get them on the bus, they go to school. Or even if we don't have children, we're always in a hurry. We get up, we eat breakfast, we put our headphones on, we're not thinking. And once we are on our way to work, most of us either read a book or they will put their headphones on listening to music. Pretty sure if you notice people around you on a tram or on a bus, or even when you're driving and you look around and you observe people, all you would see is people busy. They're lost. I mean, the next time you're out going to work or going to uni, look around, watch people. It's very rare these days to see people actually thinking. Most of us are lost in our gadgets, in our books, in our newspaper. We are not thinking, which means early in the morning when you get up and going to work in those two occasions, you are not thinking. Therefore, you're not there, according to Rene. Then you go to work. The moment you go to work, it depends on the nature of your work. If your work requires you to think, for instance, if you're a lawyer, a doctor, or a certain tradie where you have to think about something, you only think about those things when you start the job. In most professions, I won't go as far as generalizing it to every profession, but you usually face the same challenges in work that you do on a daily basis. So rather than thinking, your mind automatically follows a certain pathway where you're still using your brain, but you're not actively thinking. You know what you're doing because of your subconscious. So even in that case, for 7-8 hours of the day, you're not thinking unless you're a student, in which case, that's why all of us enjoy our student life, because that was the time when we used to think. Or unless you're in a job where, for instance, if you are a policymaker or if you are a scientist, then in those kind of jobs you do tend to think on new fronts and new ideas. But generally, most of the jobs you don't think, therefore you're not there, therefore you're not living, according to Rene. Anyhow, the point there is, if you're not thinking on your job, if it's just a subconscious activity, then you're still not there. And then we interact with people at work. That is where we share ideas. Our friends at work makes us think. Share life stories. For instance, if somebody comes to you and say, "Hi, Harun, I did this, I did that, I went on a hike," or something like that, that's out of the ordinary, it will make me think, right? And I'll feel happy. I will be there. I will be living. Thereby, according to Rene, I'm living. I'm alive. I'm there. Therefore, I think. Therefore, I am. So, I am there. I'm a present there. I'm a being because I'm thinking at that point, and that's probably some of the highlights of our days. When we actually have an improper conversation with our friends, colleagues, and that's why we all of us require healthy environments, or good relationships to um, to live. Anyways, after our work day, again the same thing happens. We either drive or take the bus, and we usually have our headphones on. Nobody's thinking, and I can bet you, next time you notice, next time you're on a bus or you're driving, look around, observe people, and you'll see most of us are lost. We're not thinking. We're not there. Therefore, we don't exist. Then we come back home. Most of us, mid-30s, to our partners, if we are lucky. If not, then by yourself, and you watch movies, anything, YouTube. Like this video, it's meant to be for education purposes, but when you're watching it, I hope it makes you think. But otherwise, no, you're not thinking. Most of us, what we do is we watch junk stuff. Like we watch a particular actor in Hollywood, how they dress, or literally what they eat, something like that. Which, generally, if that person wasn't from Hollywood, nobody gives a damn. All we're doing is just distracting ourselves. We don't want to think, and hence we find these funky things to distract ourselves. Or books. Books are great to read. There are some great books that you want to read. And then there are other books, just like the junk YouTube videos. They're junk books, and all that we do is we just indulge in reading those books without even looking around, without taking a time to just sit on a chair and think, and think about our day, think about our life, think about our relationships, think about what life actually means. We don't allow ourselves to think because somehow it's just become uncomfortable to think in a modern day. We don't want to think. We want to postpone everything, and it's a shame. Anyhow, bringing it back to our normal Joe person's day. So you come back home. If you got a partner, if you have a good relationship, we chat about things. That's healthy. But if we don't, and we're not chatting about things, and the relationship is not healthy, or if you're a single person, you come back home and you're on your mobile phone, whatever, it's unhealthy. But if you've got a healthy relationship, you're talking to the person, and you're thinking, and you're spending quality time together. Or if you're a single person, you find an hour for yourself where you're actually thinking. If you're reading something meaningful, or listening to a meaningful video which is making you think, or reading a philosophy, yeah, you're thinking, and therefore you are there. That will give you energy for the next day. But if it's the other way around, where you're not thinking even in the evening after work, well, therefore you're not there. And when you go to bed in that state where you're not thinking, where you haven't thought of anything during the day, you go to bed really unsatisfied about the whole day, and you sleep, and the same thing continues tomorrow, day after, day after, day after. So what happens after some time is there will come a day when you will think, and usually that's through some big disaster, like something happening in the environment, some big um, cyclone comes along, you can't, where your pattern breaks. So when you're not thinking, you have a pattern. When your pattern breaks, then all of a sudden, in a flash, you'll be required by nature to think, and that will become uncomfortable. And that's where a lot of people go into depression, because they don't think, they're not there, and all of a sudden they have to think, which means it becomes uncomfortable. While for other people who are used to thinking, and something as big as that, like a cyclone happens, or a close relative dies, because they're used to thinking. So in that instance, when they are required to think, they're more comfortable. They don't get depressed. Anyhow, this was my interpretation of Rene Descartes' philosophy. I think, therefore I am. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with it, and we can have a chat about it in our comment section, or I can make another video about it. Bye.